Alright, guys. I don't even want to do this guide. I don't like this character. I think she's like one of the most boring characters in the fucking game. But I figure eventually I'm going to have to cover her. So, like, here's Jade, alright? So why would you pick this character? It is because you are a failure of life and no one likes you, okay? That's why you would pick Jade, right? What is this character's archetype? She's a jack of all trades. She's kind of good at everything, but in the most literally boring way possible. Like, if there was a way to make Mortal Kombat 11 more boring, I think it would be impossible because Jade already exists in the game. She can do everything, but none of it is cool, right? Her best build, we kind of settled on Air Razor Rangs, Pole Vault, and Dilia's Dance. Pole Vault's the one we kind of argued back and forth on, but really, like, Dilia's Dance is cheap, and Air Razor Rang is cheap. Like, they're just fucking, like, good shit, right? So Air Razor Rang, she jumps up, shoots. If you have played any match in Combat League, then you know that 80% of her offense is this, right? It's just that, right, that, back up, do that again, throw another one. And the reason why is because this is a projectile that covers angular space. Anytime a projectile is shot diagonally downwards, it's always good because it covers horizontal space and it covers, to some extent, vertical space, and it creates a shield, right? Because it goes down, right? They cannot enter this whole area here until where the shuriken hits the ground. So it's very good to use as like a shield and a protective barrier while you're laming them out, which is kind of like sort of what Jade does, but this build is not a lame build. It's actually a more aggressive build. Her other move is Pole Vault. You just kind of back 4-3. If you hold it, she keeps running, let it go. You can also amplify it. If you hold the button and push R1, it's a grab. The spacing is kind of weird. Or no, it's an overhead. It's got weird spacing. It's kind of hard to hit. But the idea is you're mostly just using Pole Vault because it's -3. And it complements Dilia's Dance, which is -13, unless you amplify it. Let's go into Dilia's Dance. It's this shit. She hits you in the legs. You can amplify it, hit him in the dick, knock him down. Why this is important is because if we turn off Sub-Zero's fucking blocking, what it does, right, is it gives you... Hold on, wrong button. There we go. Gives you a restand to go right back into it, okay? Dilia's Dance on hit is +8. Back 3 is 11 frames on startup, right? If I'm not wrong, let me look. Back 3... 11 frame mid. So 8, 9, 10, 11. There's a 3 frame gap. That's a frame trap, right? If I land Dilia's Dance, there's a 3 frame gap where you could push a button, but if you do, you will die because your button doesn't come out in 3 frames. The fastest move in the game is 6, so I will always interrupt you. So that's where the flawless block mind game comes, and that's where the actual depth of Mortal Kombat 11 comes from. But as it is, like, it's a 3 frame gap, right? So you're using it to set up frame traps and keep your pressure going, and then if they block it, right, Dilia's Dance on block, kind of unsafe, -13, you amplify it, puts you at -7, and the reason why that is important is because, let me set him to stance hold, right, so we do this. Oh, shit, let me just set him to block all. I fucked up, because I forgot that it's a low, right, so you get that. I'm just going to fucking do it. Okay, you see how it pushes back, and they're restood, and there's like, it resets to neutral, you don't get anything, right? Because you look at the amplify, it's -7. So it's not like I can pressure you from it, but I'm safe. And the reason why we have Pole Vault is because it's -3 on block. So if I don't have the bar for Dilia's Dance to make myself safe, I have a meterless option to keep myself safe. Now, Pole Vault can be interrupted because I get down 1 during the startup if you hold it too long. But for the most part, you need a lot of your bar for Air Razor Rang. Because if you look at the space control of this thing, right, from long range, that shit stays on screen for a long time, and it controls a lot of space. So it allows you to really drag out the match and lame out your opponent. If you want to play lame, Jade is one of the best characters for it. But a lot of your bar is going to be going to amplified air rings. So generally speaking, you want to have, you know, a safe option. Now let's go into her important moves. Her most important move is back 3. Back 3 has a couple of follow-ups that we will show you after Sub-Zero stops punishing me. We're doing back 3, right? 11 frame mid. It's got 2 follow-ups. Back 3, 4, 3, which is special cancelable, right? You can special cancel it, and then back 3, 4, 3, 4, right? Hold on. And that adds an extra hit. Back 3, 4, 3, 4 is like death, right? Because the last hit is plus on block. So let me show you that. right? It's +5 on block, but it's flawless blockable. So the mind game on this string, and then obviously nitro kick, right? If they're trying to flawless block to catch the final hit, then they will be hit by the nitro kick or whatever. Like, oftentimes you'll sit there and do this, right? Into pole vault for 188 damage. That's really what you want to be doing to catch the flawless block on the last hit. So the mind game is, are they going to do the last hit for the +5, or are they going to overextend and cancel into a special move that I can punish? Do I let go of block to flawless block, or do I hold block to punish? But with pole vault and Dilia's dance, that whole mind game is gone, because after every string, I can just hit confirm into something safe, and like now you just have to fucking hold that. And then that allows the Jade player to sneak in the back 3-4-3-4 for the plus frames, because they condition you with all of their safe follow-ups to just passively block. And now you're caught in a frame trap on plus frames. Next most important move is going to be your back 2 wiggle stick. It's a high. It's like really, really high. All the hits are high, but it is hit confirmable, right? It's like 3 hits. 3 hits. So quasi hit confirmable. It covers a lot of space, right? So as you're playing the neutral, right, you're wave dashing and you're moving in, right? You can catch them trying to advance with that. That's basically stop coming in close. Get my sticky. Get my stick. But do note that it is a high, so if you're throwing it out like a dumbass, you're going to be punished the way highs get punished. Next important move is forward 3. This is just like your best low. Now the follow-up on forward 3, right? Forward 3, 4-3, right? You're mostly going to be doing this shit, right? It's just an all-purpose low, right? Jade has a lot of like mix-ups, and I know there's that. We're not talking about that, okay? If you're talking about that, you're an idiot, right? She's got some like mix-up possibilities off of it, but for the most part, this is just to check people trying to neutral duck under this shit and like all of her other stuff. It's just a useful all-purpose low, right? And then she's got like, finish for the string. It just kind of shuts it down. 4-3, 4-3. -6 on block, so it's not really punishable. But it's not special cancelable either, right? You can't get anything off of it. But if you need a low, that's the one, right? Next one is going to be back 1. This, it's just kind of good for a decent mid check. You can also go into cartwheel or pole vault to make it safe. There is a follow-up. That follow-up is an overhead. That's death on block. So I guess if you want to like play the mix-up game, you can do this shit. That doesn't juggle. Really? This puts you in a juggle state. So you can't do the restand into Dilia. Never mind. I changed my mind. Back 1 is kind of trash. Right? Maybe this. Right? There you go. That's like your best bet, both back 1. I didn't know it put you in a juggle state and Dilia's dance fucking dropped. That's kind of shitty. That's kind of shitty. Back 1 is still a good mid. But if you're looking for a good mid and you don't care about speed, right? Because obviously back 3 is her fastest mid. If you don't care about speed, her next best mid is going to be forward 4. This is an important move. First of all, there's a follow-up. Forward 4-1. Not really important, right? Because forward 4-1, -14 on block. That you don't really care about. Mostly you want to do forward 4 into cartwheel, right? Forward 4, Dilia dance. But the reason why forward 4 is important is because it's a mid and it's slow as fuck. It's like 18 frames, but it low crushes, right? And so this is something that I was showing people is like if you do like a button, right, and then they want to poke, she actually flips over a lot of pokes. In order to interrupt this, even though it starts up in like 18 frames, they have to hit you with like a really fast mid or jab you out of it. So like if they're just kind of poking and hitting down 1s, you can sit there and hit down 1 backdash and then blow up the poke with that. And then, it's like an easy hit confirm, right? Their next most important move is down 4. This move is shitty. This is like one of the like oddliest best fucking pokes in the game. So like her down 4 is like +20 on block. Yeah, or on hit. +20 on hit. So it jails, right? Jails into this. They have to respect that. It jails into a lot of other shit. And because it's +20, you can actually like dash in and do this shit. And it kind of quasi frame traps them, depending on how quickly you can get the micro dash in there. But her down 4 is like one of the best ones in the game. It low profiles a lot of shit. Like it can duck under mids. It has obnoxious range. It hits you from way further out than you would think it would. And she can just spam it. Like, if they get in close, like, it's just your spammy, like, go away move. Like, just, yeah, back up, asshole, back up. Right, down 3 serves the same purpose. Down 3 is a little bit faster. I think it's like 2 frames faster, 8. And this is 10, yeah. Down 3 is a little bit faster, has a little bit less range, but you just interchange them. If they get too close, you do down 3. If they're too far away, down 4. And, like, they're just kind of dumb, right? Her next most important move is standing 4. So the reason why I bring up standing 4 is because it's +3 on block. And it will hit someone crouch blocking. So if we set him to stance hold and set him to duck, right? Bam. Even from out here. Well, from out there it won't hit. But if you're up close, right? It's a high. It starts up in 13 frames. So you do run the risk of getting mashed on. But the idea is, as I'm doing this shit, right? I'm doing this. And you're expecting Dilia's dance. And then bam, now I'm +3. And I go right back into it. Bam, I'm +3. Right? Once you've conditioned your opponent to keep blocking after back 3, 4, 3, you can throw out the standing 4. They have to respect you. Unless they're good at flawless block, then they don't have to. But that's its own mind game, right? Because then you could just grab as your follow-up or throw out something even slower like forward 4 to throw out their flawless block. Or, you know, special. There's ways to beat flawless block. But basically, once you've conditioned them with back 3, 4, 3 to respect your follow-up options, that's when you throw this out. You're at +3, and now they got to fucking hold that again, right? Because, like, back 3 is 11 frames. You're at +3, 11, 10, 9, 8. So you basically have an 8-frame mid. They have to jab afterwards. If they jab afterwards, depending on the character, at best they can trade. Sub-Zero can interrupt. That's a matchup-specific thing. It's still good. Standing 4 is still a good move to use to get frame advantage. There is a follow-up 4-3. It's -8 on block. Yeah, it's not really something you want to do. And it gives you, you know, it gives you another. The second hit, I believe, is a low. But you really just want to use standing 4. Get your plus frames, right? Now, best ranges for Jade is, honestly, she's pretty good at every range. If there's one thing I can say about Jade, it's that, like, she doesn't have anywhere that she's bad. But for the most part, you want to play her at one of 2 places. Over here, where you can kind of throw this out for free, right? Range 3, which is 1 backdash outside of round 1 start, right? And you can kind of throw this and do her, you know, bootleg zoning with this build. And then range 1 where you can do this shit, right? And you can just kind of, you know, pressure them with that. Keep them going, right? Go. That kind of shit. You want to alternate between range 1 and 4, but if you're in range 2 or 1 and 3, you want to alternate between 1 and 3, and then if you're ever at range 2 and 4, you have ways to get to a better range. She's never really out of range. She's, like, not ever at a point on screen where she's at disadvantage. She just kind of is. But yeah, and then she's got, that's Jade in a nutshell. Like, that's like the basics of Jade. Please don't play this character. I hope that if no one plays this character, NetherRealm will go back to the drawing board and actually make this character fun. Because right now she's kind of not. But yeah, that's the Jade guide in 10 minutes. Hopefully in a couple of months there will be some kind of patch that makes Jade interesting. And then we can go back and be like, holy crap, we're going to delete that and redo the Jade guide because now she's fun. But until then, if you play Jade, you're probably a librarian, like really fucking boring. You probably went to like fucking Christian school or some shit because Jade players are boring. And like, I don't give a shit if you don't like me.